Yeah, I'm
Very new
wondering
hero.
if they're trying to combo this with something. Maybe they're looking at this opening duo from
Terribly.
Extremum and they're going, "Ha, you guys don't do anything to illusions right now. We're gonna try and hit you with this TB pick." Perhaps that's an opener for it. You know, Coddle TB was a really nice lane duo from a couple of patches ago. I don't remember if it was the last one or previous, but maybe that is what they're hinting at here with the Coddle pick. Other than that, it's not a bad one. Strong laner, decent heal, always available. There's Lion though to dissuade from any illusion heroes. So good response by Extremum. It's a curious one
Yep.
for me. I don't know. Is there anything that this Coddle pick signals to you, Avo?
Well, Lodin has played it. I remember watching him once. I thought it was the close qualifiers that we watched him. He was played the Coddle. I want to say I don't remember when, but I remember catching this for Nemiga, so it's not the first time I've seen it. The Lion though deters any of the illusion heroes. Coddle combines not just with Terribly, but also with Phantom Lancer and with Naga Siren. So yeah, just get rid of all of them at once. Pick up Lion, go for the Shard. I am surprised by this. I was not expecting the Coddle. It must be an ace in the hole for Nemiga.
Yeah, it's a little.
Well, I can tell you from Dat Dota, if unless Knoxville is lying to me, they've not picked him up since 7.23, and
Oh wow. Okay, never mind then.
and Keeper of the Light never got picked up during the Animajor. So this is very much out of the uh, draft book here. An
Yeah.
interesting one to pick up in this vital elimination game.
Lodin has played the hero a bit. I can see when I looked up these stats, so maybe a little bit outdated, although if they haven't picked it in that long, perhaps not. 25 matches on the Coddle with close to 50% win rate. So he knows how to play the hero, right, on the position 5. Uh, but yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. Maybe Solar Bind is the idea versus the Death Prophet. That the more you move, the more you're slowed. Is going to prove to be extra annoying to her. But I can only imagine that they had some sort of illusion strat going, which was then going to be nullified by the Lion pick.
Yeah, but if you had an illusion strat going, you would ban a lion. You wouldn't ban the lifestealer. That's so weird. You wouldn't ban the lifestealer if you had an illusion strat.
I guess.
I'm
I
really
mean,
sure what
yeah.
this was.
Why? Talk to me about why the Kotlin amplifies an illusion strat.
Oh, because most of the illusion heroes they depend on one basic illusion ability, right? For Naga's mirror image,
Mm-hmm.
for Terrorblade it's conjure image. He also depends on metamorphosis, so those two work well. And for
Fair
Phantom
enough. Yeah.
Lancer, it's the Spirit Lance or Doppelganger, really. So you get more of those. It's fantastic. They're also usually mana intensive heroes for the most part. Even CK actually, the other illusion hero, also really good with Coddle for other reasons. It's more of coincidence than the fact that he's good with illusions, right?
Mm-hmm.
With a shard though, you can't use their recall ability, and illusion heroes tend to be really good at. Yesterday, 1437 called it, or 1437 said Aoi calls it ghost pushing, where you only push with illusion heroes, and then you like take over the whole map that way, and recall adds that kind of pressure. So there's also that kind of synergy with Coddle. That's why we thought of that immediately. Even Spectre's good with Coddle. Yeah, look, just illusion heroes being taken off, the
I,
ones that killed Lion.
I think they missed the big one though. Ava. I think you hit the nail on the head with the CK because those are strong illusions.
Yeah.
They're not going to be killed by the mana drain. They are going to be annoyed by them, but it's not like they need mana anyway. It's something that can close the gap to the Draw Ranger. Something that can absolutely blow through a DP instantly before she gets off a long duration Spirit Siphon. I don't know. I think that very well could be the pick.
I like the CK
It's an
too.
interesting one.
Enchant.
I was
Enchant
looking at
was
who's played Kotl the most and won with it, and the answer is SSA Spartan. Good friend of mine,
Yeah.
SSA Spartan.
Yeah,
From
definitely.
Brame. He doesn't pick it up with Illusion Heroes. He picks it up with stuff like Bristleback, Morphling. He's picked it up with. I mean, he's an odd man. He's happy to do something a little strange.
Yeah,
I mean, no,
this is the man that uses recall to get his cores immediately into the fight after buying a Blink Derg on Coddle, right? So he is very much the exception, I would say, to Coddle. I love SSA
yes.
Spartan as well. He really looks to use recall in very creative ways on the Keeper of the Light.
I mean, I wouldn't even say it's that creative. The Bristleback combos are also very obvious. It just so happens that those kind of tempo combos that used to be popular with Coddle are not so popular these days because it doesn't justify having such a weak support as Coddle. So most of the time, picking those up now is not that valuable, which is why we went immediately to Illusions. But yeah, as I say, likes tempo. I mean, he's the name of the game. He runs into the fight. That's how he initiates with his dead body. So.
What? It's a
Classic last.
Broodmother.
It's a Broodmother. Fair
Oh,
enough.
Axe Carry? Is that an Axe Carry strat then?
It could be.
Let's-
That would explain the second phase bans. I know they've disappeared, but there were 2 bans to protect this axe pick. One of those being the
Lifestealer
Ursa. Yeah. Okay.
I like
but
this a lot. I think they can get on top of the Drow with
It
an
is.
axe carry very
it's
effectively.
axe carry.
Okay, they bait out the Drow then, because Drow is actually one of the weakest heroes against Axe Carry. Not only, as you said, getting on top of her, but her being a high agility, or an agility core in general, Axe bursts you down. It's pure damage. Armor does nothing. Similar issues with actually the Death Prophet, who also gets bursted down. You're like a buffed CK, honestly. They do the same
Yeah.
thing, except Axe is more pure damage.
And speaking of that pure damage, Avo, the lane is really difficult for DK because the way that DK stomps lanes is he stuns you, he'll get some denies and get a couple of value right clicks onto you. Not going to want to do that versus an Axe. Breathe Fire's not going to do anything to him either. Yeah, I kind of like the pick here. I think Extremum may have gotten kind of baited into this one.
So with the Brood, Nemiga saying, anything you can do, we can do significantly better, and we can do it with a hero that has not been seen this side of May, I think. So guys, take us away. Lead us into what will be an exciting elimination game for these two brilliant teams.
There he goes. Did you see that? I think he might be a spider. He just went straight down like he was, spinning by a thread. As we spun quite a web of stories there. Sorry about the delay, everyone. Unfortunately, it happens sometimes. Dota 2 servers, still in beta, etc., etc. Still, we had to relocate the servers from Stockholm. I believe we're still in Stockholm, of course, for these servers, but we're good to go now for our third and decisive game.
Yep, I agree. I'm very excited for this last game, as well, we have some pretty nice, a really nice draft by Nemiga, I think. I was low-key rooting for this team. I mean, not obviously in this matchup specifically, but just in general, I wanted to make a bit of a deeper run, because I think this team has a lot of potential. I was very sad about Hellscream, and this game is looking pretty good for them. But I'll also be very sad to see EXTREMUM go. As someone who's a big fan of the esports pose, we have pretty much the creator of it, is God, or G. Who, when he played in LG International, that was the best Dota 2 intro I have ever seen on a team. So those Dota boomers will know what I'm referring to.
Lodin in trouble, as there's going to be the air spike out from Lion, and that is going to be a very dead Coddle for first blood. Two support duos from Extremum doing their best here to try and alleviate as much pressure, and in fact, it looks like they will be bringing two supports down bottom, perhaps looking for a couple more kills. As actually, here's Nefrit. Okay, this is some way for Extremum to try and alleviate a bit of pressure, as we are going to be playing perhaps a bit of musical lanes. I think Kiritich has to swap this lane.
Yeah, I don't... What other solutions do you have here? You're going to lose your lane advantage by doing this, and Drow is going to have a pretty decent lane. I mean, it's not like DK will deal with Broodmother, but similarly, you're not going to deal with DK either. So, the only issue that you swap lanes with Broodmother, and that's one of the biggest things, and why I think more teams will start to deal with a Broodmother this way, is that you already have set up the webs, and more importantly, even in the position, if Broodmother pushes off the tier 1 in the off lane, that's whatever. You're not going to control a triangle just by taking that. Whereas pushing the tier 1 in the safe lane is major. So you do want that Broodmother in the off lane as much as you can.
6, 7.
That's actually a really
8,
good point. Yeah,
9,
maybe that's why Nemiga can't change it, because they've come to the lanes, they've seen who they're facing, and unfortunately for them, if when they ask the Brood, hey, can you TP? They go, no, all my webs are on cooldown, right? Like that's a serious concern for the Broodmother. Usually we see this play out in mid to early game team fights when the Broodmother just can't TP in for engagements. But I suppose this is also still stands true during the laning phase.
Yep, I agree. So that's why I think that this is a good solution by Extremum. We were talking about all these iterations of what could happen with the lanes, and this is the easiest solution. Just ignore the Broodmother. Give her a different lane instead. And that way, I mean, Axe is a good hero at recovering, but you've mitigated one of the biggest issues with your draft, which is the loot loss lane.
4,
now you can actually
5,
snowball
6,
a bit.
7,
in the mid
8,
lane, like I said,
9,
Death Prophet can deal
10.
with that matchup. It's not impossible for her. You might max Crypt Swarm instead of the Spirit Siphon just to deal with the Wind Ranger a bit better, and then you'll be fine. Good to go. Some DPs even go for the 1 point in silence, go 2-1-2, so get the Spirit Siphon off every time.
That's on my end too.
It's dealer's choice here.
I like that, dealer's choice. As, well, so far, Broodmother choosing to be pretty mean to the DK. Blizzy, actually no points in the Dragon Tail, so he is diverting a bit from the build just to make sure he's got this bonus armor and regen early on, rather than go for the traditional style of playing DK off lane, which is take a point in the bonk and then just look to deny as many creeps as possible. I like it, though.
Yeah, you're not going to bonk the Broodmother, and you need to get points in Breathe Fire, right? That's to deal with the Broodlings. So I think I agree. It's the best choice. I mean, you can still bonk a bit later, right? But I still think maxing Breathe Fire might be a good choice. The 2 points in Dragon Tail should be, or in Dragon's Blood should be enough. Even the 2-1-2 build could be justifiable here. Because otherwise you have no lane clear for these spiders. And you want Blizzy to stay here as long as possible. That said, if Blizzy is pushed out like this, yeah, is forced to TP here.
Yeah,
Good
just
choice by
TPing.
Blizzy.
Yeah, back to the tier 1 tower. He's got a healing salve, not even pocketing the bracer because he knows he got more than enough HP. G, in the meantime, though, is doing a bit of farming himself, as he does have this Blightstone using that Wild Wing Ripper to create an EF5 Tornado to clear the rest of the Wild Wings. He's going to return to lane and probably look to bully Karateach a little bit more, who is not really getting a whole lot out of this bottom lane oppo. And in fact, G has close to double, in fact, he has got more than double the CS than this carry Axe has. Karateach already into the jungle at level 3.
Okay, so not an ideal situation, but like we said, Axe is one of the better heroes of being able to do this, right? Recovering to some degree. However, this gives a good fighting chance to EXTREMUM. A really, really good fighting chance to EXTREMUM. To be able to just dominate this early game, push as fast as possible, deny the Axe farm, and make it so that he won't come online at 20-25 minutes. And if you do that, you're giving yourself a bigger and wider window opportunity. Because once he comes online, it's going to be tough for you. But if he never does, then ideal for EXTREMUM. Especially because Broodmother will fall off by the time that Axe is ready.
Certainly. I mean, 2 points encountered Helix, and into the jungle we go. We still need this Ring of Health quite desperately. There's at least a little bit of stacking because the Nyx Assassin, without much else to do, was sent into the triangle. Lodine down bottom, though, is currently being chased into where the secret shop side shop used to be. Earthspike connecting, an effort right in his face to make sure they have vision here on the awkward horse model, and that is going to be a kill there.
Yeah, I'm very surprised they killed him with how slim he is. You know, it's so difficult to ever catch up with the Kato, but somehow they managed to kill the unkillable, really.
This is starting to be a problem here for Nemiga, to be honest. They need to find some way to alleviate a bit of pressure. Naturally, the Brood is eventually going to pop off a little bit in this top lane, but she's struggling. She's really struggling here. Melojewel as well, picking up the infused raindrops, is not going to be too scared of these power shots, which is being maxed currently by the Windrunner. At the ready now with this Exo, has the wagon incoming. This could very well be an attempted tower siege here from EXTREMUM.
Yeah, Melojewel's like, yeah, why not? We have a catapult, we have exorcism. If you fight this, you die. And Nyx might realize that soon. Hex, that's going to be a dead Nyx Assassin. Goodbye to heaven. But actually, even Blizzy's joining with DP, DK. That tower is going to fall for sure. That cliff is not going to help you enough. They're definitely going to push as hard as possible. Aincrad actually TPing because he's done. There's no point in staying here if you're not going to be able to defend it.
Yep, yeah, he's looking to at least apply some pressure down bottom. Or he will join Lodine, who's currently just soaking levels. Jaw Ranger, of course, especially when you hit level 6, you're going to be pretty happy to continue laning. Will, for now, hide underneath the trees to make sure she's not scouted out and killed. Lodine maybe thought about going for the bounty rune. Will think better of it. Now just looking to try and do a bit of damage and maybe even clear the stack. We'll pick up 1 creep, but that's about all he gets from that. Chosen One, in the meantime, is at least applying pressure to this tier 1 tower top lane and should be able to make very quick work of it. In fact, it's only got 8 HP remaining, so it will go down.
Okay, good job. At least Chosen One has managed to open up the map, right? So not changing lanes, maybe not as great as you wanted the early game to go, but you have been able to activate the Broodmother as expected, and now it's up to EXTREMUM to try to stave off this Broodmother's push. We talked about this earlier, how they could do it, how to rotate as early as possible and punish the Chosen One, but now seeing it and having to actually perform these actions, it seems like a tall order.
Our Axe is recovering. Of course, jungle creep not worth as much as lane creep, but this mega stack of Ancients here could help Karateach recover. Vanguard delivered just in time, though unfortunately they failed to stack it, as we got some pretty big creep kind of blocking each other off, but it's still 3 times stacked. Or I guess stacked twice, so there's 3 camps in here for the Axe to try and farm up. What does G already have? G's going for power treads. Love to see it here on the Enchantress. Just basically a bit of a jungle ench here, to be quite honest with you. Much how I know. Listen, I'm not going to say it. Okay, I'm not going to say it. But much like Snake King on Team Tundra, I normally likes to play it.
Ah, right. It's okay if you mentioned snaking. That's fine. He's American, so he gets a pass, right? I agree. I like this. I like G's Enchantress of the semi-core into the mid game. I think you're gonna need that here anyway. And if you can stave up the access timings, it's not entirely impossible to be able to win this into the late game when Broodmother falls off, right? I think Aincrad also fulfills that role of a bit of a contingency plan in case they don't get the tempo they were expecting, and maybe Axe even falls off or they find a solution against them, then Aincrad can be that extra bit of burst damage you need.
Axe. Okay, yeah, he'll get this now finally with the bonus armor. He was falling pretty low, but this Vanguard with the chip vest. I mean, if there is a couple of items, you know, OS Frog has been quite merciful to Kiritich after what was a very, very brutal laning stage for him that lasted approximately 3 minutes, and he's been juggling ever since. But with Vanguard, chipped vest, and the Tango regen, he is good to go. That's a second tower down bottom though in favor of Extremum, as now only the top tier 1 remains. And this is a little bit of an issue for the Chosen One. If Brood should lose her top tier 1 tower, her offlane tower, it makes it a little bit awkward for you to play, because a lot of the times Brood Mothers can just, you know, be really annoying in the enemy jungle, bait out a bunch of rotations, and call for reinforcements so the team can TP to that tier 1 tower and look to turn the fight. Without having the opportunity to reinforce like that, it does make, you know, playing in the enemy jungle a little bit scarier.
That's very true. And that, I mean, it doesn't seem to matter to G right now, who's managed to find some really scary farm, but you're right. It's, yeah, I mean, I was expecting him to actually play much more defensively. This is usually how he opens up the map as a 5, and how he manages to find farm despite the fact that you are a bit reduced by the Brood Mother. It's another way to try to deal with this push that he's putting out. But you haven't really done anything against Brood Mother at all this game. Like, really not hunted her down or even stopped her Spiderlings, which is giving her free reign. Yep, and this should be a free kill.
He finds himself on the other side of the Brood Mother this time. If he laughed at Lodin any at all last game, he's now getting the favor returned. Actually, I believe it was Heaven on the position 4 line last game.
Yeah. That's true. This time, the Chosen One getting to play. Look, Lodin must be so happy right now. Just like, yeah, Retribution. Look how bad it feels to play support against this Brood Mother. But God on the Enchantress should be fine. Oh, Blizzy, Berserker's Call. Can they get this kill? He's quite tanky. Blizzy decided to go into the trees. Focus Fire plus Karate Chop will do the trick there.
Yeah, that's going to be the Javelin doing some work there, piercing through all of that armor to be able to, through the evasion. But either way, doing that bonus 70 damage is going to go a long way, especially giving you a bit of mixed damage through all this armor that the DK has.
But you talked about this, right? That the Maelstrom mixed damage is a good way to deal with DK, and it's true. Like I said, to a degree, a contingency plan, making sure that if Axe can't really join, he doesn't have enough damage right now, he needs to create space for himself. Ironclad can fulfill that role. I think it's pretty solid. But as I mentioned earlier, Axe is one of the best heroes at recovering when he's a carry. Good smoke block there by Heaven.
Yeah, let's, oh, hold on. I think, yeah, it's just Heaven being a bit annoying here. Blizzy, his Blink Dagger is going to be revealed as well by this rotation from the Nyx. So although it's not going to be a kill out from Vendetta, it is going to be a camp blocked and some intel gained. Very valuable here for Nemiga Gaming. If you would, help me tie this Brood performance and the response to a Brood more accurately back to game number 2, as the Chosen One, already 11 minutes in, has dispatched of the top tier 2 tower.
Yeah, the first game was no Brood performance. This is ice-sized levels of Brood performance, where you're like, what do I do against this hero? How do I stop it? And how do I get my map back? And it's impossible. Chosen One, they even put wards around the enemy jungle to make sure that they can't even go into the high ground and hunt down the Chosen One. If they wanted to make moves, they had to be sooner than this, and now it's just a bit too late. Chosen One's top... the top lane is Chosen One's right now.
It's gone.
Talk about a dead lane.
He's just going to force rotations? Yeah, I mean, with the Spiderlings to tank, even if they glyph here, they don't have a glyph, by the way, yeah, forcing back a rotation here from Melojule, that's going to free up Nemiga to at least look to show themselves bottom lane. It's still a risky maneuver, as Lodin, I think, has spent the majority of these 12 minutes hiding in trees in the bottom lane, just absorbing experience and pushing waves back with Illuminate. But I actually think perhaps that was a very deliberate decision in drafting this Coddle, right? There are not many heroes that can push lanes out with this kind of efficacy and this kind of safety. Even like a Squirrel or a Treant Protector could be hunted in certain lineups.
Yeah, I agree. Coddle is one of the best supports to be a dead laner, right? And then now you have the control of the dead lanes. This draft is something that BSJ would just absolutely love, you know? Because you have such good control over the map as a result, because your draft allows you to take advantage more of the resources an Extremum can. And even an Extremum have the opposite. where like Drow Ranger is not a good hero to do this. Death
Wait.
Prophet is not a good hero to do this.
They can kill these spiderlings with this, with the Pipe of Insight buff. There they go. They might have turned as a cheeky little play on the spiked Carapace is going to get Melojul stunned, and that prevents him from even farming any of the spiderlings, just getting the lane creep. EXTREMUM, their map is really stretched thin. They're going to try and collapse back like a rubber band here onto the Chosen One, but Blizzy's smoke is going to break, and he still has no idea where the spider is. In fact, he's underneath a ward. We've got Nyx Assassin in Vendetta ready to counter-initiate, and there they go, but they've missed the Impale. It's not going to matter much because they still get the kill. Melojul is going to go ahead and pop Exorcism, will collect the kill at least onto the Nyx Assassin, but we're not in any position to use this Exo for anything other than just getting a kill onto the Nyx.
And that was Dragon Blood level 3 already. Didn't seem to matter to the Chosen One, who tore through them with those spiderlings. He missed the Impale, otherwise I think that DK was
Bottom,
going to die
Nephrit,
sooner, but it doesn't really matter.
Nephrit, we have a shackle shot?
Yeah.
Oh, Ankr's just playing with him.
He's going to fall. EXTREMUM, they feel like they're without options right now already, like this early into the game. Look at Milyu! He has Exorcism up and he's still losing to the spiders, and that pipe is making them invulnerable. You just can't kill those spiderlings. Meanwhile, by the way, we haven't talked about this, but the Axe has just been completely recovering in the jungle, in the safer part of the jungle. Has the Yasha nicely, good farming build with a Blink with Vanguard, and Montastel is almost done here.
Yeah, it's actually kind of an incredible recovery. I mean, you know, in Spider we trust. You know, I think this is why we got to get that Spider out of your sink. You know, otherwise this is gonna happen. One of these days, I'm gonna open the door. It'll just be cooking a full meal and booting me out. My goodness.
Yeah. I'm telling you, please kill it. The Nemiga guys have just done. I mean, now that I'm seeing this draft in action, I'm just seeing so many good synergistic points that I didn't even see in the draft when we're talking about it. Like Nyx being able to cancel all smokes, reducing the options for EXTREMUM to try to go for like these Hail Mary smokes or anything like that to try to recover. Obviously, the Broodmother's push, that's a given, right? The Wind Ranger and the Caudal actually being two really good dead laners. Axe being one of the best heroes at farming camps quickly to take advantage of the safe farm. This draft is really well thought out.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised they didn't decide to lane swap, but of course, there literally wouldn't have been a point, you know? They would have gladly walked back top lane and forced the Broodmother to just waste more time and you know, at the end of the day, experience a net worth by relocating and planting more webs, as they are still hunting here for Blizzy. They know he's nearby thanks to the scan. Blink Dagger available in 1 second, and unfortunately, some misconnections here should be getting Blizzy out of harm's way. He's got too much plot armor on this DK to escape.
I'm wondering how EXTREMUM can get back into this match and make the draft work. Because the draft, one of the strengths it has, of course, is the immediate tower push of the DP and the DK. Something that can kind of mirror the Broodmother's effect and try to open up the map for yourself so nobody has control over the map. But the problem with this is that even if you manage to take towers down and equal Nemiga's power there, you still have a very unmovable carry. You still don't have as much mobility or as good dead laners, and you certainly don't have a Nyx Assassin to give you that vision. So, yeah. I mean, you have an Enchantress creep, which can fulfill that role.
Here goes Brood again.
Oh my goodness, this must be so annoying.
Well, at the very least, the lane wasn't pushed in, so yeah, now the wagon's going to aggro to the tower. But at the very least, you weren't taking chip damage from the siege wagon. Mid lane, by the way, our observer caught this, as did I. It was we put down an observer ward, and this is immediately scouted by the Illusions of Axe Nemiga, so they should know about this, and that just feels so awful. Like you highlighted how we can't smoke because of the Nyx Assassin. It's so hard to already move around this map, and you've already gotten one of your most promising deep wards is already been scouted just instantly. It's like everything is a non-starter this game now for EXTREMUM, despite, you know, having a pretty clever laning solution to the Brood and Axe.
Yeah, we'll see what how EXTREMUM respond to this with the smoke. This time it's not going to be scouted by the Nyx, so they're going to go for the Broodmother. I think at this point, though, even if you kill the Broodmother, it's not that important, but it's still a kill you want to get. They just want to start a stupid pipe thing. Like this pipe and send your spiderlings to destroy tower is too annoying, and they gotta get rid of the Chosen One. Oh, the spiderlings actually scout Milyu, but there's Blizzy. He was baying the whole time, turns into the full dragon form. Yule Scepter should set up for this. Earthspike catches Brood Mama and her babies with a finger of death.
Oh my
They'll
god.
make sure Chosen One dies.
They really wanted him dead. A good response, though, from Nemiga. You know, you have to be a lot like the tidal waves here when you play professional Dota. If the high tide is top lane, you got to move in down bottom and plant some vision, farm your way back out, and just make sure you're being as efficient with your time as possible. Deep ward here, watching over the cliff. You know, some casual ancients farmed up. And speaking of casual, just a little bit of an exo now, as it's going to be Extremum looking for a secondary objective off the back of this spider kill.
Okay, good usage there. You take over the spider, so that means that... Sorry, you take over the top part of the map because you killed the spider. Now you can take Roshan pretty safely. You know Axe is still not online. In fact, Mix coming in here has been silenced, stunned, and killed. Quick, nice, and efficient. Yes, used a lot of resources, but you're using your window opportunity effectively, so well played Extremum, all things considered. But I hate to point this out, just Nemiga has not started to play their game yet. They've just brood mama you. Now, Aincrad is finally getting to that BKB. Axe is getting to that full Manta-style shard Blink Dagger build. That's when their game starts.
Yeah, I think we're still 5 or 6 minutes out, which, of course, conveniently is just about the duration of an Aegis. So this will give some security to Meluyul as far as him moving around the map, perhaps even looking to use Exo as soon as it's off cooldown again at level 2 to maybe look to push down bottom, where you know the Broodmother is not going to be too apt to play. But it's not going to do anything to stop Kiritich. We've barely seen him this game, but he has been farming up a storm. 171 last hits as we look down bottom, where Lodine, who I feel like we've barely seen as well, has farmed up an entire Solar Crest already and a good amount of money for this 4-staff. Hold that thought.
Oh, Aincrad. Oh, there's no Dragon Form.
What a shackle.
And he actually just set up for the shackle shot. Aincrad on point. The Dragon Form now with Dragon Tail will hit. And now stop the TV from Aincrad. Be punished for your sins, Aincrad. Bit too cocky there. Didn't actually check the Blizzy, or didn't recognize that Blizzy was about to be able to use the Dragon Form and get that range stun. Otherwise, that would have been a really good ploy.
Okay, careful here. I think Heaven just walked slightly under sentry range. Yeah, just barely here because of this sentry. Did get scouted, but no matter. He's going to join his arachnid-type friend top lane, at least his keratin-covered friend top lane, to continue just the harass and so much damage. And the slow siege, man, constantly forcing them back. We're going for the Aura Broodmother, by the way, so it's not like this is like, you know, a diffusal SNY Broodmother that's been taking over the game. It's very much still a Broodmother who is going to be ready to show up and fight as soon as we have this BKB on Windrunner, as soon as we have this Manta, Shard, and Axe. And by the way, speaking of that Manta and Shard, we've already got the Shard, just now needing 800 gold for the Blink Dagger, and Axe is going to be very keen to join these fights when Aegis is reclaimed.
Since you're playing super safe, I think it's appropriate because you're just gonna wait it out, just not just the Aegis, but also just try to maximize your farm. Shard gives you more farming power, so go ahead. And the Broodmother, when you build her like this, means that even when she falls off, it's okay because the auras are always useful, right? So it's a really good build when you recognize you're not going to be the win condition, and you don't aim to be one either. I think last game Blizzy made the mistake of going for this build or a similar build to this one. First of all, being against an AA, which means Greaves was not as powerful, and second of all, dying a bunch without your team. When you couldn't really use those auras effectively.
Smoke play out from Extremum. Oh, they might be able to find Aincrad. He did shoot a power shot away. Smoke's not breaking, so Chuvash now finally making the jump. Will find the Windrunner, but they scouted the BKB. They don't want to fight this. It's too risky. They have no vision on anyone else. Maybe there's a Nyx assassin there, so they will back up. Real quick, a quick note. I briefly mentioned how all the lanes are always shoving. Top lane, Spider. Okay, that's taken care of. Mid lane and bottom are going to be pushing now, just thanks to Kiritich alone, who just finished off the Blink Dagger and will be smoke ganking with his team off the back end of the Manta, Shard, and Blink timing.
Meluyul. Okay, they go for the Nyx assassin. Silenced 2 times, just for safe measure. Now stunned, but that's in exchange for Meluyul's first life. Can it set up for a second? Kiritich is readying the Berserker Skull. There's the BKB from Meluyul. And it's going to be still trying to bring him down with a Focus Fire. However, the BKB is keeping him alive. No way to lock him down. Extremum will get away with a very simple kill. In fact, the second one, maybe. He just bought back for this. No, Heaven! Appropriately called because he sacrificed himself for his team twice. As you know, most martyrs do go to Heaven.
Most of them do. So that is going to be a decent exchange here for Extremum. BKBs for BKBs. You know, that's as good as a use for Aegis as I think you could hope for on a DP who, you know, is a little bit of an awkward hero to be carrying an Aegis because, you know, you don't really want to respawn without Spirit Siphon, without Exo. So not too bad.
It's a good bait. I mean, I don't think Nemiga's too sad. If it wasn't a dieback, they'd be okay with this. But Axe is ready to fight. Kiritich, ooh. Okay. Berserker Skull, he's safe though from those arrows. Berserker Skull is plus armor, so the marksmanship is not going to deal with him.
We've already got a shard as well for Coddle. So giving him that recall now ready to go. Again, I mean, this is a very farmed Coddle. We spoke about how much G has been farming, and a quick nod towards G, who's now going back for the Dragon Lance, just looking to increase that attack range, more damage for Impetus, better stats, but also has the full Holy Lockets and Power Treads completed. They will be TPing back the Nyx Assassin, which should do well to scare away G. Yeah, he's not wasting any time to TP himself out. Chuvash here, breaking an enemy smoke gank. Kiritich, yeah, is not even going to use the match style here if he, well, not that he has it, but he's going to find the dunk onto the Lion. There's a Heaven, and now back to hell for the Lion.
Yeah. Better tank the smoke for Chuvashu than letting the Drow die, right? So it's okay. The thing is, like I said earlier, there's not really a turning point in the next 10-15 minutes. There is one moment where Drow becomes stronger, probably in the late game, but it's definitely not it right now. And that puts Extremum in a very difficult position. I like the choice by Nefer, by the way. This is the Zeus Drow Ranger, where you actually go Axe plus Maelstrom, later Mjolnir. Great way to deal with the Spiderlings. Great way to defend high ground. Actually, one of the strongest heroes at defending high ground. So, not a bad solution. Very creative solution to a bit of an outdraft.
Crimson Guard finished up now. That is going to do a lot to help the towers. Of course, buildings do get affected by the guard and barrier buffs of Crimson and Pipe, respectively. Normally, that doesn't really come into play, except for rare cases like this, where that is going to completely stop the Spiderlings from pushing, as they don't do enough damage to get through the 70 active block.
That's true. Crimson Guard too much. Good pickup though. Good. I think that's smart to stop the Chosen One from completely dominating this early mid game. Now Nemiga has to swap and make the Axe and the Wind Ranger the strong ones, because they can no longer get away with this sneaky push anymore. But Broodmother knew this. That's why she built this way. So she was already ready for this. I like when teams respect each other and they itemize accordingly. They know they're gonna stop the Broodmother, so you're gonna prepare for that. But Extremum still has to do it regardless. Otherwise, you're too strong.
Yeah, now bottom lane starting to be sieged here. Broodmother and Nyx Assassin again. This duo as strong as ever. Oh, might look for a quick pickup onto the DP. So much damage to the Earth Spike, finding only half the Spiderlings, but there's not enough damage to get through Melloyul that easily. He's going to have to BKB and look to TP away, afraid of what's coming. Everyone else will join him as they all TP back home, and we'll be safe and sound.
Did you see that initiation at the second time Nyx does that? He stands behind the Spiderlings, activates Spike Carpus, and go, oh no, I hope they don't clear the Spiderlings. And then Death Prophet dies. It's such a, like, simple yet effective play. It must be so annoying as Extremum, because you want to deal area damage, but if you deal area damage, Nyx is going to stun you. If you don't deal area damage, the Broodlings deal with your towers. What do you do? Catch 22 entirely.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's not a fun experience to be playing versus the Spiderling army when they're amassed like that. Not to mention, of course, when they've got a pipe barrier, so you don't even do any damage to the Spiderlings, but you still stun yourself.
Exactly, that's the worst feeling. How am I this useless and still dying, right? Again, not Melloyul's fault, just the fact of the draft making her not feel as strong.
Well, there we go. There's the Maelstrom and that Ag Scepter. So, you know, cosplaying the Zeus here with these cat ears is Nefrit.
I like this. It's a strong build this game. Also, ups your farm a ridiculous amount, so you're not going to fall behind as Drows usually do if they have to play without space.
Nyx Assassin just ready to break smokes. Eincred, he might be in a bit of trouble, especially as he finds himself de-warded on that cliff, so he will go ahead and back away, not wanting to drop this brand new gem that they've just purchased. But the smoke play now from Extremum as they're looking to bait Chuvash. And fortunately, Nemiga, they are doing well to stay out of the way of this potential gank.
Oh, so Gambit actually tied the series against Fantastic 5. Okay. They don't want to be kicked out by one of the lower division teams. Let's see if it's going to happen. Fantastic 5 I mean, there's a part of me that wants to see the upset, right? I don't want to see Gambit go, but Fantastic Five kicking out Gambit would be quite the upset for these close qualifiers. That would mess with a lot of people's brackets.
That would be absolutely huge. Yeah, that would be huge. That would be quite the storyline as well, right? The classic Eastern European roster shuffles right before the major, you know, right before TI qualifiers versus the roster that has been full of, you know, young and up-and-coming players. Of course, let alone the fact that BZZ was playing not only on Fantastic Five Season 2, stood in position 5 at the major. Now he's back, potentially eliminating ASM Gambit. I mean, there's so many stories you could tell there. It's amazing.
I completely forgot BZZ the Spy. That's why. That makes perfect sense. Yes, totally. That's why they could beat Gambit. Genius BZZ. That man is really thinking 5 steps ahead.
And you know what it is?
I mean,
you know what this is about, Alvaro? He's gonna go ahead and pick Pugna in game number 3, equip the set. There it is. That's what it's all for.
You actually can't beat BZZ when he has the set on. It's a reality. So he doesn't do it because of sportsmanship, and he feels like he wants to play fair. Look at that. He was even expecting the Crypt Storm. They have no vision. Heaven still wanted to make the same play, but he is disrupting any sort of smokes. They want to try to initiate here. They know Coddle's on the low ground. Perhaps a bit of a... Oh, that's a beautiful shackle shot on the 2 cores. Berserker's Call on top of that. The Impale's not even needed. They're actually stacking the stuns. That might have been their mistake, but Blizzy's already dead. And they'll be able to burst down this DP soon enough. Unless Melo could just walk away. Okay, they're going to regret that. That Impale might have screwed them, but another shackle shot, this time catching the 2 supports, and the Berserker's Call from behind stops Nefert right in his tracks. Blinding Light, Nefert can't hit anything. Nefert's down for the count, 50 seconds without him, looking for a Berserker's Call. The Spike Carpus will stun down Melo Yule, and Heaven will redeem himself for the earlier Impale as he ensures that Melo Yule goes down. They're still chasing after God. Very slow is Kiritich, but they have good amount of magical damage. God, very, very slow. Can they kill him in time? They should be able to with a dunk. Kiritich is now ready to push some towers. Blizzy, be very, very careful. These shackle shots are lethal.
Oh yeah, 2 double shackles into the game. The wombo combo set up. I think Nemiga stacking the stuns there a little bit. Yes, and there goes Kiritich yet again onto Blizzy. He did buy back in this fight already. A dieback here is going to be so punishing. The DP can buy back, but doesn't have EXO, and DK is down. Oh, wow. They are able to finish off Chuvash as well. 5 heroes dead, 7 total in this fight. As Nemiga, this time the spider's in the base, and there's nothing to stop her.
Yep. Nemiga is looking really, really good right now. For some reason, the logos got swapped there, but it's fine. They're looking very powerful. They're going to be able to beat EXTREMUM here. As EXTREMUM need to wait, honestly, another 10 minutes if they want this Axe to go down. And Axe carry, particularly, is not a hero that you pick when you want to fight slowly. He's an impatient hero. You run the enemy team down. Very much an OG-style hero. And they're going to be able to take another objective now in the Roshan.
Rush number 2 here, Alvo. Axe, of course, already having the shard. Broodmother having the shard. Nick's shard is very meh this game. Cuddle has it. Windrunner, I suppose, could use it here for the global power shot. Oh, who needs global power shot when you're landing shackles like this, though? Kiritich with the BOTs back on in, and that is going to be G. Avoiding the dunk for now. Lots of healing thanks to the locket, but he still will fall regardless. Nefert thought about maybe looking for some sort of counterplay here, but is not going to be too happy to go 1 versus 3. Stealing himself up briefly versus the Axe, but thinking better of it after the call comes through.
Now the tower push continues. The Chosen One has never left this area. It's the pipe shenanigans again, but Nefert at least is ready for this. He'll be able to defend high ground decently, but is this going to be sufficient? In fact, the Nyx with those little tricks again. He's done. Nefert gusts him away.
Yeah, he tried off of Maelstrom procs there. I love it. Yeah. They got the drow.
I think she's dead at this point. Yeah, they just kill her. Chosen One, bursting her down with the spawn spiderlings. Blizzy is way too slow. How's he going to get back home?
He's not.
In a coffin. Kiritich still has the BKB on top of him, so he's not going to go down here. They can't really catch up to him. And they even have Heaven in the middle of this fight. Or more cheeky Spike Carpuses, or just for the Impale if EXTREMUM try to run away or run against Nemiga.
This is absolutely brutal. EXTREMUM, they just have so many things in the base they can't deal with. We even have this Silken Bola is going to give you a miss chance of 80%, by the way. On top of, what, a 70% on Blinding Lights? It's so difficult. Drow's had to buy back, but she doesn't have magic immunity. She doesn't yet have a Force Staff. She can't escape here. She's been forced to go for this high ground defense build, the Zeus build as you've called it, but it's going to do absolutely nothing to save her from when Kiritich is able to land these blink calls as consistently as he is.
I think it's the best out of a bad situation, but it doesn't take away that it's a bad situation, right? So
Yes.
I don't think it's enough. When I was claiming it, it's because, yeah, I like the creativity. I think you're doing a good job, but the outdraft is pretty hard this game. And like I mentioned, X carry just tears through a drought.
Speaking of tearing, and Kiritich tearing through that bottom tower, I think he's got a Radiance, or is this going to be a Nullifier? It's a Nullifier. Nullifier Axe, even more right-click damage now. Of course, it's all about the spins. It's all about this pure damage here, but no longer can you avoid him with the Yules. No longer can you avoid him here with the Ghost Scepter on Lion. If Axe is on top of you, not much you could do to save yourself here, even if we did already have the Force Staff.
Oh, there we go. He's on top of the DP, and if Vale not even needed, the damage is absurd.
The Spike Carapace?
In fact, they actually stunned out Blaze. He was trying to help out his team, but to no avail. Nefrit running back home. He doesn't want to die, but it's not going to be his choice. So many hits from the little Spiderling slow him down. Nefrit's down for the count. 90 seconds without him, and the GG well played will be called. Upper Division be damned. Nemiga are showcasing their true power against EXTREMUM, eliminating this Upper Division team from the closed qualifiers and further themselves a little bit more in this lower bracket run.
Yeah, they're not down and out yet. Nemiga, I think they're going to be facing the winner of that ASM Gambit versus Fantastic 5 series. What a draft from these guys, honestly, in game number 3. This is, the creativity. This is this different play style that Nemiga have brought throughout the second season of the lower division. This is what got them through the closed qualifiers, and I think they're able to perhaps get a surprise victory over EXTREMUM, but a very well-deserved one. When we're back after the short break, we're going to be back with Daniel Offen to break down this series a little bit more.